On March 11th, a new AI model appeared on OpenRouter. No company name, no press release, no documentation. Just a raw API endpoint called Hunter Alpha with a 1 million token context window. And it was good. Within 3 days, it was the single most used model on the entire platform. 500 billion tokens consumed in a single week, eventually passing 1 trillion total. Developers started pulling it apart. It described itself as a Chinese AI system with a May 2025 training cutoff. Same language as DeepSeek's chatbot, same reasoning patterns, same training data fingerprint. Reddit, Twitter, developer forums. Everyone converged on the same answer. This was DeepSeek V4, quietly launched under a fake name. It wasn't DeepSeek. On March 18th, the company behind Hunter Alpha stepped forward. It was Xiaomi. A company that most of the world associates with smartphones and home gadgets had quietly built a 1 trillion parameter AI model, released it anonymously, and watched the entire industry attribute it to one of the most respected AI labs in the field. The model is called MiMo V2 Pro, and why they built it is the real story here. The person who built MiMo V2 Pro is a researcher named Luo Fuli. He published 8 research papers in a single year while still a student at Peking University. After graduating, he joined Alibaba's AI research lab, then moved to the hedge fund that owns DeepSeek in 2022. He became a core contributor to DeepSeek V2, one of the most influential open-source models of that era. Then in November 2025, Xiaomi recruited him to lead their entire AI division. A phone company pulling a top researcher from the hottest AI lab in China raised eyebrows across the industry. But it makes more sense when you see the number. The company committed $8.7 billion over 3 years to AI infrastructure. Chips, data centers, training clusters. That's not a research experiment. That's a company redefining itself, so the obvious question is why? Xiaomi doesn't just make phones. They make electric cars, air conditioners, robot vacuums, security cameras, wearables, hundreds of products across dozens of categories. And their CEO Lei Jun has a very specific vision for how all of those products should work together through one shared AI system. Not someone else's platform, their own. You're driving home from work. You tell your phone to turn on the air conditioning, start the rice cooker, and check the charge on the robot vacuum. 1 command, 3 devices, 0 app switching. They call this human times car times home. Lei Jun showcased it at Mobile World Congress 2026 in Barcelona. The phone is the controller. It understands what you want in natural language, breaks it into device-specific commands, and coordinates across your entire ecosystem, all running on one AI backbone. The phone running all of this is the 17 series, and the agent on it is called MyClaw. It has over 50 tools for system control, app management, web browsing, and third-party services. If it tries something risky like initiating a payment, it requires biometric verification first. High-risk actions trigger a confirmation that auto-cancels after 60 seconds if you don't respond. On the car side, the SU7 is an electric sedan with over 381,000 vehicles delivered and fully autonomous driving capabilities. And the smart home connects through appliances that act as intelligent terminals on the same network. But none of this works if you're routing the intelligence through someone else's servers. Latency kills voice commands. Cost explodes at device scale. Privacy regulations change by country. And if your AI provider shuts down a model or changes pricing, your entire product ecosystem breaks. At that scale, depending on a third party for the AI layer is a liability. So they built the whole stack themselves. Most AI companies ship one model and let developers figure out the rest. They built 3, designed to work together as a single agent system. MiMo V2 Pro is the brain. 1 trillion total parameters, 42 billion active per token, using a mixture of experts' architecture. When you ask your phone to find the cheapest flight to Tokyo, Pro is the one that reasons about what you need, breaks the request into steps, picks the right tools, and coordinates execution. Pro handles the thinking. But an agent that can only think isn't very useful if it can't see what's on the screen. MiMo V2. Omni is the eyes. It's a multimodal model that processes text, images, video, and audio in one unified architecture. It can look at a phone screen and interact with it the way a person would. Tap buttons, scroll through results, read content, fill out forms. In a live demo, Omni opened a browser, searched for product reviews on a shopping platform, compared prices on another site, negotiated with a customer service chat, and completed a purchase. All autonomously. It can also process over 10 hours of continuous audio in a single request, which is how the car uses it for analyzing dashcam footage and identifying hazards in real time. The third model is MiMo V2 text-to-speech. The voice. Trained on over 100 million hours of speech data, and it does something most speech systems can't do. Compositional emotion. You can tell it to sound angry but trying to stay calm, and the output is measurably different from either angry or calm alone. It generates natural pauses, breathing sounds, and even sighs. It can also sing. Pro plans the task, Omni handles the perception, and text-to-speech communicates the result back to you. One stack, running across phones, cars, and smart home devices. So how does a model built by a phone company compete with the most expensive AI systems on the planet? The answer is architecture, MiMo V2. Pro uses mixture of experts. 1 trillion total parameters, but only 42 billion fire for any given token. The rest stay dormant. That's what makes it cheap to run. On OpenRouter, it costs about 30 cents per million tokens. Claude Opus is roughly $2.50. GPT 5.2 is about $2.30. That makes MiMo roughly 8 times cheaper. But cheap doesn't mean weak. On Claueval, the benchmark for AI agent tasks, MiMo V2 Pro scores 61.5. Third in the world, behind only Opus and Gemini Ultra. 2 architectural details make this possible. First, hybrid attention with a 7-to-1 ratio. Out of every 8 attention layers, 7 use a sliding window that only looks at the nearest 128 tokens. Fast and cheap. The 8th layer uses full global attention across the entire 1 million token context. Speed on most layers, deep understanding when it matters. Second, multi-token prediction. Instead of generating 1 token at a time, Pro predicts several tokens simultaneously, cutting latency for the multi-step tool calling workflows that agents depend on. Between mixture of experts, hybrid attention, and multi-token prediction, the architecture is purpose-built for the agent workloads their ecosystem demands. A year ago, if you told someone that a smartphone company would build a trillion-parameter model, ranking 3rd globally on agent benchmarks and costing 8 times less than the competition, they would have called it a fantasy. But they didn't build MiMo V2 Pro to win a benchmark race. They built it because the next generation of consumer devices needs AI that can reason, see, speak, and act, not through a cloud API with 200 milliseconds of latency. Natively, on the device, under their control. The mystery model that fooled the entire internet into thinking it was DeepSeek was just the stress test. The real product is an AI system that connects your phone, your car, and your home into one intelligent network. Pro plans, Omni perceives, and the voice speaks back to you. And it was all built by a company that most people still think of as a phone brand. The era of hardware companies building their own frontier AI isn't on the horizon, it's already here.